Hey, how you doing? I hope you've had a really great week. Now, I've been thinking about doing a video about this, and after talking to a lot of different people that have had extremely similar situations, no matter where they are in the world, I thought it would be a really good idea to do a video about it. Obviously, coronavirus has impacted all of us globally. It still is affecting us globally. Many countries, including the UK. I live just outside of London and I work in central London, or worked in central London, are going to be hugely impacted by, no doubt, quite a large recession after this. It is definitely that kind of time where we are adjusting to a new normal, and the normal that we had is maybe no longer there, or needs some tweaking. But how does that impact us as compulsive skin pickers? Now, I've talked to a few people in this time. A lot of us have been feeling the same way. So obviously different countries have experienced lockdowns, different measures, different rules, but everyone in the collective has felt extremely tense, uneasy, overwhelmed. Also overwhelmed by the increase in skin picking. I think everyone I've spoken to who has been in touch about how we've been feeling about this virus, it has always been the case that there's been an increase in skin picking, myself included. My skin picking has increased. The urge to skin pick for me has increased largely during this time, and I've had to be really mindful of that daily. Not even daily, like hourly, see how I'm feeling. I have cut back on caffeine so that the anxiety doesn't spike the way it usually does after I've had coffee. And I love coffee. It's hard. I don't want to not have it, but I know that things like that are really important for me. I've also been walking, something daft, like 4 to 5 miles a day when I can, because I know that sometimes I just need to get out of the house, and I'm listening to more positive music, a lot of love songs, a lot of old lovey-dovey classics that keep me feeling good, and I chat to people on the phone. I listen to podcasts that keep me motivated towards my goals. These things have definitely helped me during coronavirus, but the skin picking has been an issue. And as we transcend into this new normal, one question I kind of want to ask you is, where's your focus at as you are walking towards this new chapter of your life? Because we're all walking towards it, right? And the people that we are as compulsive skin pickers, we have a tendency to look at things that are outside of our control and really have a hard time with that, because we can't control the situation. We take it upon ourselves to try and control how we look, how we feel, what we do. We take that lack of control and we turn it into a way that we can control ourselves, so that we are controlling something. And that's kind of how dermatillomania and other bodily focused repetitive behaviors are. That's how they've manifested. Some point or another in our lives, we have been put into compromising situations where we feel a huge lack of control. We want to control the outcome of some sort, or we want to try and help the people we love and control their reactions to things. Whatever it is, we have felt unable to control that. And because of that situation, we have taken it to controlling ourselves. We have taken that healthy viewpoint of you can't change other people, but you can change yourself, and we've kind of morphed it into this, well, I'll just take it out on myself every time something isn't right in my eyes. And that is and we're very good at hiding that to everyone else, so literally nobody knows what we're doing as well. We've manipulated it so that literally nobody knows that we're doing that, which is great. Masters of disguise. Go us. As always, I want to say thank you so much for checking this video out. If you are a fan of the content I'm putting out, please subscribe to my channel. It helps so much, and I absolutely love getting to know you, getting to know your story. If there's anything you want to share, please throw it in the comment section below, and I hope you enjoy. How we go about this new normal, how are we going to start that chapter? Because the whole having a lot more time to ourselves was great, But also, we knew that we would skin pick a hell of a lot more. We knew that we didn't have to see anyone, and so if we did skin pick, we didn't have to see anyone, and there was time for our skin to heal. So all we needed was a bit of advance warning that we were going to go back out and see people again, and then we could let our skin heal for that time, that whole prize mentality that we do. But then I'm sure I'm not the only one that has experienced intrusive thoughts where I'm thinking about, okay, well, when I do go back to this like new normal, like new chapter where I'm seeing people again, like how do I go about that? I have definitely been focusing a lot more on my weight whilst I've been home. I know that if I'm not being active and I'm not eating well, that I'm literally just in my loungewear all the time and eating to my heart's content unless I tell myself no, you can't do that. And probably like 2-3 weeks into it, I was like, girl, stop. It is not your life's aim to be Jabba the Hutt by the end of this. The whole thing was a huge adjustment for us all. Everyone's individual, but I'm sure we can agree that we had to adjust a lot in our own minds. What was comfortable was all of a sudden not comfortable, and we had to weigh the pros and cons of everything and take a stern look at ourselves and being like, right, okay, I could really start working on this. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's so easy for those with obsessive compulsive behaviors like we do, to go back into an environment where we're seeing people. And if you suffer from anxiety disorder or social anxiety, then going back into a situation like this is really, really uncomfortable, especially when you're like, well, the corona is still around, so this is really weird. And when we go back into, say, like an office environment, like I work in an office usually full time, so when I go back into an office environment, the way that the UK has it, they're going to have to start implementing these rules to make sure that people aren't anywhere near each other, and there's you know, all these rules and guidelines that every company has to follow. And for someone that has anxiety, that's really nerve-wracking. Like the thought alone of doing that is really nerve-wracking. I know that I am really unsettled at the thought of getting on a train to go into central London, and I don't know when it is, but already my mind is freaking out and overdrive because of that thought alone of knowing that I'm going to be doing that at some point. It's really easy for me as an obsessive compulsive skin picker to look at this situation that I can't control and then go straight into, right, well, what can I control? Okay, I can control my skin, so I can control, you know, if I had a moment, an episode, and I did pick, well, I can control how I am with it, and I can get it back to normal for this day. Or I can look at my weight. I can go from binge eating a load of bad foods to working out excessively. Then my mind starts to think about, how am I going to look when I see people? Are people going to notice a weight change in me? All these things start popping into my head about, well, okay, I need to prepare for this. Like, there's a lot of things that I've got to do. What if people start asking me what I've done in this time? Because I'm on furlough right now, and I know that my mind's like, well, you have to show that you've been productive, because if you don't, then that's not good. Already I notice there's so much bits of pressure, amounts of pressure from here, there. All these intrusive thoughts come with pressure, like, well, you should be doing this, and you shouldn't really be doing that, and you should do this, and don't forget to do that. And it's so easy, if we have literally nothing to do and we're stuck indoors with these intrusive thoughts that come with a load of pressure, for us to skin pick. So it really is no wonder that so many of us have experienced an increase in skin picking. But as we go into this new chapter of our lives, and we're facing, you know, there's a lot of job uncertainty, we don't know how things are going to be going forward. It's tough, it's scary for a lot of people all over the world that are hugely impacted by coronavirus. But we have to make sure that we don't go into fix-it mode with ourselves and we start looking at all these things that we need to change within ourselves because the way we are is not good enough and I'm not happy, so I need to go do this. If you're also like me, I love planning. Like, I love planning, I love lists. A little bit more than the average person, I get off on lists and plans. always have, I don't really know why. It's really easy for someone like me to go straight into, right, let's make a plan. So when we get back to this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to see. This is how I want to look. This is how I want to act and be and eat and and start thinking about this new version, Kim 2.0. It's unrealistic, and there's a hell of a lot of pressure on there, even though it's sugar-coated as bettering myself and self-development. There's also a hell of a lot of pressure there, and that pressure is actually going to push me further away from these goals and make me feel like crap because I'm not good enough. I'm not at where I planned to be, but at the same time, my plan is too far out of reach, and I don't feel motivated to do that because this is purely based on pressure. So what I'm asking is, if instead of going straight into all the things that you've got to do when you get back out in the world, and you got to look this way and you got to do this, and if you're experiencing a hell of a lot of pressure that you're putting on yourself right now as you prepare your skin or you prepare your body or your look or whatever it is, you're preparing yourself to be around other people. Think about it for a second and just ask yourself, will these things actually make me feel better? Do these thoughts actually make me feel better? Is the pressure that I'm putting on myself X, Y, and Z, I got to achieve this by this date, do these make me feel better? Also, am I focusing on the right things here? Because if you're anything like me, I've spent many years of my life focusing on, I will not be happy till I've done this, till I've done this, till this is done, till I've done this. And really, the one thing that's always kind of held me back is my dermatillomania, because that's always been the comfort blanket. Every time pressure gets too much, pressure that I put on myself, and I sugarcoat it as self-development. I think a more healthy approach is just observing where you're at, how you're feeling, how your thoughts are, and what are these thoughts that are creating higher urges in skin picking or higher urges in needing to change yourself in some way. And let's say, if you can write those thoughts down, trying to decode them, trying to break them down. These messages that I am sending out in my brain, and the thoughts and the goals, the aims that I'm wanting, are these actually making me feel better, or are these actually contributing to my skin picking? And is there a reason why I'm focusing on these rather than the skin picking and getting to the root of that? Of course there is, because when we are doing all these goals and we think it's like self-development and we are bettering ourselves, it's because we have a fear of settling, of letting go of ourselves. And if we don't have something that we're constantly working on, then we have let ourselves go, and oh my god, we're gonna swindle out of control. No, it's not that case at all. In fact, when we are more relaxed, we are more inclined to do the things that we actually want to do. I don't know about you, but like when I'm in a really good place within myself, I tend to be more active, I tend to eat better, I tend to be more present with people that I see, and these are all the things that I want to do. So actually eliminating that pressure will actually help you achieve your goals sooner. Another thing to bear in mind is that when we have these goals, we are obviously striving towards that instant gratification, that instant reward. We want that quick reward where we lost 6 pounds in a week or whatever. We want to feel like, wow, yeah, I'm feeling slimmer. We don't want it to be a case of, oh, I'm starting to manage my skin picking better. That is like the last thing that we're thinking about, because we are wanting instant gratification and instant rewards. And something like working and managing a dermatillomania doesn't really give you that huge dopamine spike the way that smashing your goals would do. And so that's totally why our minds instantly focus on that, because we want something we can feel really pumped about, and getting to the root of our dermatillomania is always the last on that list. If you think about it a bit like this, if you're a 4-year-old child and dermatillomania is your teddy, and I come up to you and I say, can I take that teddy from you? And you're like, are you going to give it back? And I'm going to be like, no, I'm just going to take it. 4-year-old you is going to be like, no, I'm not going to give it to you. Like, it's my teddy. I love this. I need this. It's my little comfort friend. I don't want to give you my teddy. And that's why trying to get rid of our dermatillomania just doesn't work, because we're telling ourselves to get rid of something that we feel that we need in order to feel comfortable in this scary world which has loads of things going on, and we don't feel like we are able to channel them in a healthier way, process them in our minds in a healthier way. we aren't going to want to just get rid of it with nothing in its place to help us. And so it's so easy for us to just go towards goals, fixing goals. I want to feel good about myself, and you do all this, but the one thing that probably holds us back the most is not managing our dermatillomania, not getting to the root of the problems and figuring out where did this start, okay, and going at it with a observant and rational mind, rather than the whole emotions of it. Just try and figure out how it began and what can you do, what helps you, getting to know your personality type, which I'll talk about in my next video, because everyone is different. Everyone has a wired brain differently to the others. What helps me and that might not work for you, and that is okay. It's such an amazing journey getting to know yourself and how you can better yourself with this, how you can work with your dermatillomania to have the life that you want, feeling good about yourself, accepting yourself, embracing who you are, and loving yourself inside and out. And it's when you take those pressures away, that's when you're going to make the progress towards those things. That's when you're actually going to smash the goals that you put in place, because you are doing it through a place of love and care and patience, not through pressure. Pressure is always the thing that holds us back the most, and it is like fuel to the fire for dermatillomania. So as we go into this new chapter of our lives where there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of things that we can't control, and we're scared for our loved ones, and we're scared for our jobs, our livelihoods, the bills, all these things that we didn't have to consider so much before, now we're having to consider it. Please, please, please don't automatically go into, well, what can I change? What can I control? Okay, I can control my weight. I can control how I look. I can control the things I'm going to do this in my life. I'm going to do that, go there and act on whims, and then beat yourself up when you don't do it, because this is how our minds have been taught to process this kind of hard information. So just take it easy, be patient with yourself, be compassionate, up that self-care, get to know who you are and your personality type and what your personality type needs to feel good, and then give yourself those things. I hope this has been helpful. Please, as always, put any comments that you do have or any questions in the comment section below. Please give it a like as well, because obviously every bit of engagement that you do helps get my videos up and for YouTube to notice in the algorithm, so that hopefully some other people that have no idea that there are people like us who go through this as well can see these kind of videos, and then they too can feel better, helped and supported. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you again in 3 days. Mwah!